I pushed play on season 5 of Stranger Things, the first batch, right, the first 4 episodes, and I had to stop it. Not because it wasn't good, but because I needed a refresher. The recap wasn't enough. So I went back and I watched season 4. Amazing, amazing. And I wanted to talk about this. There's going to be spoilers in this. I want to talk about the first 4 episodes of Stranger Things season 5. And I just kind of wrote down some questions. I'm just going to go through them. If you guys have any answers to these or predictions, or you had some of the same questions, I'd love to hear about it. I'm enjoying it so far. I can't wait for the next drop. But there's some things that I just want to throw out there into the universe. This is kind of a far reach, but listening to a couple other people talk, and I can't remember who this was, but there was a thing like in the 80s with horror movies, particularly Friday the 13th, this puritanical idea of people getting punished for having fun. Now, Jason Voorhees drowned. Well, the camp counselors weren't paying attention. I get it. He's mad. Understandable. But as the counselors get murdered in every movie, there's kind of a running theme where you feel like they're getting murdered because they're when they're having fun, like they're having sex, they're getting stoned, they're drinking, and that's when they tend to get killed, right? And there's kind of this, I don't know if it was intentional, but there's kind of this subconscious feeling of this puritanical idea of idle hands, fun hands, like are the devil's workshop, and they suffer consequences for that, right? It's a deep dive, I know, or a reach maybe, but it's there, I think. And the reason I bring that up is because in Stranger Fives, in the first episode of season 5, the new character, Holly, the little girl who gets taken into the upside down world, she's in her house and her parents they get in a fight, the dad leaves, Mr. Wheeler, and the mom is kind of smoking and drinking. She gets into a bath, she's listening to music, she's sort of, unwinding, trying to recoup from life, like the kids in, Camp Crystal Lake. And a Demogorgon pops out and trying to take her kid while she's having fun. So it reminded me for a moment of that, the difference between, or sort of just watching two things simultaneously, which is someone trying to enjoy themselves while something horrific is happening. It reminded me of that a little bit. While we're on that note, I want to point out one thing, and these aren't necessarily criticisms, but in that scene where the mom finally, she realizes what's going on, she goes to fight the Demogorgon to save her daughter. She takes her wine bottle that she breaks and she starts slashing it, and she's holding off the Demogorgon for a while. I don't know, a while, maybe like a minute, it's 30 seconds, I don't know. But she draws blood, it looks like, and she puts up a good fight. But then at the same time, the Demogorgons are getting blasted by brigades of the American military, and they're just like swiping guys left and right. There's a little bit of a weird, like, what actually hurts them and what doesn't. Like, an angry, drunk mother can have more of an effect than an American brigade. Maybe, I don't know. So that's one thing to think about. People keep mentioning the fact that these characters might be too old to be playing teenagers in high school. I'm okay with it. I think they look fine. They're right on the border there of where you might want to, like, if there were to be a season 6, which there's not supposed to be, but if there were, bump them up to community college. It's been 10 years, but I'm okay with it. What's the deal with Dustin and Steve's relationship? Dustin seems to have taken kind of a darker turn. Does anybody notice that or feel that? He feels like he's just being a moody teenager. I don't know, but it feels a little bit darker. Steve feels the same, but there's some friction there, and I don't know what's going on, if there's foreshadowing going on here or what, but something's going on, and I don't know what it is. Why isn't the real world more involved in Hawkins? What's happening? I mean, they're surrounded, right? There's a military presence, there's checkpoints apparently. Where's the media? Why isn't anybody else taking interest in this? It doesn't seem like. It kind of reminds me of Ghostbusters 2. stay with me. Remember in Ghostbusters 1, the Stay Puft Marshmallow, there's all these things happening. The Ghostbusters are real, ghosts are real. And then in Ghostbusters 2, the mayor's kind of like, ghosts, huh? Here we go again. No, didn't you see the Stay Puft Marshmallow walk through Manhattan or wherever he was? You don't remember that? All right. So that's kind of the weird thing. Is like, why is this insulated to Hawkins? Is there some sort of explanation as to why there doesn't seem to be, involvement from the other states, other countries, the UN? I don't know. Seems like a big deal. Holly and Max in particular, I don't know what's going on there. What's happening? She's in a coma in a hospital, but she's also in the upside down Hawkins in, what's his name's mind or dream, but she's in a cave where he can't go in because he's afraid. What's happening? I'm sure they'll clear it up, but I don't really understand what's going on. If you have any theories out there, let me know. Will, I feel like this is going to go bad for him. I don't know why. I feel like he's been given these powers similar to 11, but I mean, are there going to be consequences? Because it feels like there's something dark happening here. It doesn't feel like, hey, this person discovered a new power. It's Superman, baby, lifting up the car. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like, for a minute, I thought he was going to become a Demogorgon. Because if you remember, at the beginning of the first episode of season 5, they show, what's his name? I can't remember his name. The main evil villain. He's not killing him. He's just looks like he's pumping something into there. So is he's like sharing something? Is it Will's like kind of like a external hard drive. He's backing up his data, and like if he goes, then there's Will to take the torch and move on. I don't know. Something's going on there. I'm going to come back to Will in a second. Let me make a couple of predictions because I feel like people are going to die in this one. And I feel like it's going to be Will. This is my prediction. Will and Hopper. That's who I'm calling. I don't think 11. At first I thought 11 maybe. I think something's going to happen with Dustin and Steve. I'm not quite sure what. But if I had to call it right now, I would say that it's going to be Hopper and it's going to be Will. So let me know what you think. I want to know what your theories are. Are you looking forward to December 25th, the next drop? I think it's interesting that the series finale, after the next drop on Christmas, this is December 25th, 2025. We're about a week before that right now at the time of this recording. Next batch of episodes drops, and then the finale is supposed to be New Year's night, New Year's Eve in certain cinemas, but in theaters. Well, Ted Sarandos, I thought theaters weren't important. I know you just bought Warner Brothers and you're saying there's going to be a theatrical commitment and all that, but you must have planned this a while ago. Or is this, you're trying to like give some more of that smoke screen of you liking theaters with this Warner Brothers deal? I don't know, but I mean, you wouldn't have a Super Bowl party if you cared about the Super Bowl in a place you hated, right? You're going to have it at wherever you love. So I would imagine this is an indication of Sarandos' value in theaters. I could be wrong. I'd love to go. I don't know if it's playing around me. I'd love to see it, but Stranger Things 5, so far I give it high marks. In the past, there's been a few seasons where it took a while to get going. This feels like that a little bit. After having watched season 4 from the jump, great, all the way through. Season 4 was I thought it was amazing. I'll have to go back and watch all of them when it's done. I didn't have time to do that this time, but it was fantastic. I don't think season 5 is quite there yet. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be emotional because it's supposed to be the last one. But we're going to find out. So I'll come back for the next batch and then the finale. But until then, let me know what you think. I say so far so good.